Few names in baseball history stir up as many emotions as Mark McGwire. For many, he's a hero. Hello, dear friends, I'm Alder Santos, and welcome to our channel, Baseball Legends. McGwire is a symbol of unmatched power at the plate, a man whose raw strength often seemed almost superhuman. For others, he's a controversial figure with a career stained by accusations, and later, his own admission of steroid use. But before passing any judgment, one thing is certain. McGwire defined an era, starred in one of the most thrilling moments in MLB history, and became a cultural icon far beyond the field. His journey is complex, filled with twists, triumphs, and setbacks, and it still fascinates fans and critics to this day. His story began with a bang. In his rookie season, McGwire shattered records and proved he was there to change the game. But it was alongside José Canseco with the fearsome Oakland A's of the late 80s that he cemented his place as part of one of the most explosive duos baseball has ever seen. And as if that weren't enough to etch his name in history, the world hadn't yet seen the peak of his career. In 1998, alongside Sammy Sosa, McGwire embarked on a home run chase that captivated the United States and reignited the sport's flame after the 1994 strike. It was more than baseball. It was pure spectacle, raw emotion, and history being written with every swing. Watch this video until the end and tell us in the comments. What's your opinion on Mark McGwire's legacy? Hero, villain, or a bit of both? We want to hear your thoughts. But not everything sparkled forever. Over time, investigations, doubts, and revelations cast a shadow over McGwire's achievements. Still, he reinvented himself, returned as a coach, helped develop new talent, and kept contributing to the sport that had made him a legend. In this video, you'll get a deep dive into the life and career of one of the most impactful and controversial figures of modern baseball. Get ready to relive historic moments, reflect on the game's behind-the-scenes truths, and immerse yourself in a journey that will never be forgotten. Mark McGwire began his Major League Baseball career with an immediate and unforgettable impact. Drafted by the Oakland Athletics in the first round of the 1984 draft, he quickly showed that his offensive power was something special. After excelling in college baseball at the University of Southern California, USC, and playing for Team USA in the 1984 Olympics, McGwire spent a brief time in the minors before debuting in the MLB. His arrival in 1987 coincided with a turning point for the A's, who were beginning to build a competitive roster around young talent. What few could predict was the explosion McGwire would cause in his first full season. In 1987, Mark McGwire rewrote the record books by setting a new rookie home run record, 49 in total. This not only shattered the previous mark of 38, but also instantly made him one of the most talked about names in the sport. His combination of raw power and patience at the plate was rare for such a young player. In addition to his 49 homers, McGwire racked up 118 RBIs, a .618 slugging percentage, and a 1.023 OPS, numbers many seasoned veterans dream of. He also led the American League in home runs, something no rookie had ever done before. Naturally, this phenomenal performance earned him the well-deserved American League Rookie of the Year award. McGwire's success in 1987 had a huge cultural impact on baseball, at a time when the sport was looking for fresh stars to attract a younger audience. He emerged as a symbol of strength and excitement. His towering, majestic home runs became must-see events for A's fans, and he quickly became a rising superstar. The Oakland Coliseum came alive every time he stepped to the plate, and his popularity soon stretched far beyond California. Even as a rookie, McGwire was already showing signs that he could become one of MLB's all-time greats, not just for his talent, but also for his charisma. Beyond his individual success, McGwire helped spark the rise of a team that would soon become dominant. His emergence coincided with the rise of another young slugger, José Canseco, with whom he formed the iconic Bash Brothers. Together, they brought a new identity to the Oakland Athletics: aggressive, confident, and explosive. The 1987 season, though it didn't end in a playoff berth for the A's, marked the beginning of a new era. And at the heart of it was Mark McGwire, the 23-year-old rookie who was already a legitimate threat to any pitcher in the league, and who would leave a lasting mark on baseball history right from the start. The partnership between Mark McGwire and José Canseco on the Oakland Athletics was one of the most iconic and electrifying duos in baseball history. Together, they became known as the legendary Bash Brothers, a nickname that reflected their incredible physical strength and aggressive hitting styles. With their powerful swings, they specialized in long, towering home runs that lit up stadiums and struck fear into opposing pitchers. But it wasn't just the numbers, it was the energy they brought to the team and the fan base. Every time one of them hit a home run, they celebrated with their signature forearm bash, a move that became a defining image of the A's identity during that era. By the late 1980s, the Oakland Athletics had become one of the most dominant franchises in MLB, largely thanks to the Bash Brothers. In 1988, both McGwire and Canseco were at the peak of their powers, and the A's finished the season with 104 wins, capturing the American League pennant. Canseco was named the MVP after becoming the first player in history to hit 40 home runs and steal 40 bases in the same season, while McGwire continued to terrorize pitchers with his home run power and run production. Although the A's lost the 1988 World Series to the Los Angeles Dodgers, the season solidified the team's status as a rising powerhouse, and the Bash Brothers as their undisputed leaders. In 1989, the partnership between McGwire and Canseco reached its peak. Although Canseco dealt with injuries throughout the season, McGwire maintained his consistency and continued to be a key offensive anchor for the team. The A's once again finished at the top of the American League, and this time crowned their season with a World Series title, defeating the San Francisco Giants in a series that became famous for the earthquake that struck the Bay Area before Game 3. McGwire and Canseco played crucial roles in that victory, helping cement the legacy of that team as one of the strongest of its era. For McGwire, hoisting the World Series trophy was the culmination of work that began in 1987 and a symbol of the success his partnership with Canseco had produced. Off the field, the Bash Brothers also became major media figures. The image of McGwire and Canseco, strong, charismatic, and imposing, sold jerseys, attracted crowds to stadiums, and graced magazine covers. They were pioneers in transforming baseball players into pop culture celebrities, something that would become even more common in the 1990s. However, over time, their partnership also came under scrutiny, especially regarding the use of performance-enhancing substances, an issue that would later negatively impact public perception of both. Still, during their years together in Oakland, McGwire and Canseco were an unstoppable force that changed how baseball was played and consumed. And for fans of that era, the Bash Brothers period remains one of the most exciting chapters in MLB history. Mark McGwire quickly became synonymous with raw power in baseball. His swing was a combination of precise technique and devastating strength, capable of launching balls far beyond the outfield stands with ease. From his early years in the league, it was clear that McGwire wasn't just another home run hitter. He was a constant and unpredictable threat. His imposing physique, with muscular arms, and a dominant stance at the plate intimidated pitchers even before the first pitch. Throughout his career, he amassed impressive stats, including several seasons with more than 40 home runs, which solidified his reputation as one of the greatest long ball hitters the game had ever seen. The height of that power came in the 1990s, especially during the memorable 1998 home run race, when McGwire broke Roger Maris's record by hitting 70 home runs in a single season. The feat captured the attention of the entire country and reignited public interest in baseball after years of declining popularity. For many fans, McGwire represented the sport at its most thrilling. Power, emotion, and the ability to change the course of a game with a single swing. He wasn't known for his batting average or stolen bases. His specialty was crushing the ball with incredible force, making the home run his signature move. This made him a generational icon and a constant presence in sports highlights of the era. Even after his playing days ended, McGwire is remembered for his almost superhuman strength at the plate. He was one of the first players to take the concept of the power hitter to the extreme, paving the way for a new generation of sluggers who also prioritize power above all else. Despite the controversies that later emerged regarding performance-enhancing drug use, his impact on the game as a symbol of power is undeniable. McGwire's legacy as one of the most feared hitters in MLB history remains intact in the minds of fans. After all, few players could electrify a crowd as consistently as he did simply with what he could do with a bat in his hands. Mark McGwire's move to the St. Louis Cardinals in 1997 marked a new chapter in his career and reignited his competitive spirit. After years as a star in Oakland, McGwire was traded to the Cardinals during the season and made an immediate impact. Although he was already a veteran, he found in St. Louis a passionate fan base and an organization that believed in his talent as a centerpiece. His performance at the end of that season, 24 home runs in just 51 games, was a preview of what was to come in the following years. The environment in St. Louis, both on and off the field, seemed ideal for McGwire to fully tap into his potential as a power hitter. The 1998 season, his first full year with the Cardinals, was nothing short of historic. McGwire broke the single-season home run record by hitting 70 home runs, surpassing Roger Maris's long-standing mark of 61 from 1961. That campaign placed him squarely at the center of the sports world, turning each of his at-bats into a must-watch event. Busch Stadium was packed game after game, with fans eager to witness another towering blast. In addition, his friendly rivalry with Sammy Sosa of the Chicago Cubs during the record chase helped revive interest in baseball at a time when the league was still recovering from the 1994 players' strike. McGwire remained an offensive icon for the Cardinals for several more seasons, putting up impressive numbers even while battling injuries. His presence on the team wasn't just productive on the field, it was also inspiring in the clubhouse, with teammates and coaches acknowledging his dedication and knowledge of the game. The city of St. Louis embraced him as a hero, and he repaid them with memorable performances that forever left their mark on the franchise's history. Even after his retirement, McGwire stayed connected to the organization, later returning as a hitting coach and further strengthening his bond with the team that helped him reach the peak of his offensive career. The 1998 home run race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa was one of the most electrifying and memorable moments in Major League Baseball history. The single-season home run record of 61, set by Roger Maris in 1961, had stood for decades as one of the sport's most sacred marks. When the 1998 season began, few could have predicted it would culminate in an epic showdown between two of the era's most powerful hitters. McGwire, wearing the uniform of the St. Louis Cardinals, and Sosa, playing for the Chicago Cubs, engaged in a head-to-head battle that quickly captivated American fans and the global baseball audience. With each new home run, the anticipation grew as packed stadiums and live broadcasts kept millions of fans glued to the action. The rivalry between McGwire and Sosa was marked by mutual respect and sportsmanship, which only added to the magic of that season. Unlike many fierce sports rivalries, the two sluggers often praised each other and showed admiration for one another's performances. The media quickly dubbed the competition the Great Home Run Chase, and the intense coverage helped revitalize interest in baseball, which had been damaged by the 1994 players' strike. Every Cardinals and Cubs game became a must-see event, and fans delighted in the chance to witness another historic swing. When McGwire broke the record with his 62nd home run in September, the moment was celebrated by fans of all teams, with Sosa on the field to offer heartfelt congratulations. At the end of the season, McGwire finished with an impressive 70 home runs, setting a new all-time record, a mark that would only be surpassed in 2001 by Barry Bonds. Sosa, in turn, finished with 66, also breaking Maris's previous record. Although McGwire emerged victorious in the numbers race, both players were celebrated as heroes and ambassadors of baseball that year. The 1998 home run chase went down in history not only for its astronomical numbers, but for the spectacle, the emotion, and the connection with the public that it provided. To this day, many fans consider that season one of the greatest chapters in modern baseball, with McGwire and Sosa as symbols of an era when each swing seemed capable of changing the course of history. The 1998 home run race had a deep cultural impact and is widely credited with revitalizing baseball in the United States after the 1994 players' strike, which had left many fans disillusioned with the sport. For years, MLB had faced declining viewership and waning public enthusiasm, but the thrilling duel between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa brought the lost excitement back to the game. The two sluggers turned each game into a spectacle, and the entire country began to follow their plate appearances with anticipation. Newspapers often featured daily home run counts on their front pages. TV shows opened with highlights from the previous night, and stadiums were packed with fans wearing red or blue and white, cheering for their heroes. The positive narrative, the charisma of the protagonists, and the grandeur of the chase for Roger Maris's record brought families, friends, and communities together around a sport that, for a time, had seemed to lose part of its soul. More than just a sports achievement, the 1998 race became a cultural phenomenon, entering the collective imagination as one of the most iconic moments in recent baseball history. McGwire and Sosa were elevated to national icon status, appearing on talk shows, being honored by the U.S. Congress, and becoming inspirations for a new generation of young fans and aspiring players. The influence of that magical summer was also felt in increased ticket sales, merchandise revenue, and TV ratings, demonstrating how sports, when driven by compelling human stories and extraordinary performance, can win hearts again. Although years later the home run era would be reevaluated under the shadow of banned substance accusations, the immediate impact and collective memory of that period continue to be celebrated as a baseball renaissance, a moment when the game regained its magic before the world's eyes. Years after hanging up his bat, Mark McGwire found himself at the center of one of modern baseball's greatest controversies. In 2010, after years of speculation, he publicly admitted to using anabolic steroids during much of his career, including during the historic 1998 season. The revelation deeply shook his public image and recontextualized many of his on-field accomplishments. Although he stated that he used the substances to aid in physical recovery and not necessarily to gain strength, the confession was a heavy blow to fans who had once viewed him as a hero during the home run chase. The admission also raised broader questions about an entire era of MLB, known as the steroid era, casting doubt on the inflated stats of many top players of that period. The most lasting impact of the controversy was felt in McGwire's consideration for the Hall of Fame. During the years he was eligible for voting, his name was often mentioned, but rarely received enough support from voters, reflecting the discomfort the baseball community has with honoring players associated with doping. Despite his public remorse, attempts to clean up his image, and even his return to the sport as a hitting coach, the weight of the scandal continued to overshadow his statistical legacy. Many analysts and former players debate whether his numbers alone should be enough to secure a place in Cooperstown, but the use of banned substances remains a significant hurdle. Still, his contribution to the game, both on the field and in revitalizing baseball in 1990s, is undeniable, even if clouded by controversy and complexity. Mark McGwire retired from professional baseball in 2001, closing a career marked by historic feats and impressive stats. Despite dealing with recurring injuries in his later years, particularly to his knees and back, he remained a constant threat in the lineup until his final days as a player. Over his 16-season career in Major League Baseball, McGwire totaled 583 home runs, a feat that placed him among the greatest power hitters of all time. But perhaps the most notable stat of his career was his average of 1 home run every 10.6 at-bats, one of the best ratios in league history, showcasing his consistency and unmatched power over the years. Even when he didn't play a full season, McGwire still made his presence felt with his intimidating plate presence and ability to change a game's momentum with a single swing. Beyond home runs, McGwire also ended his career with 1,414 RBIs, 1,167 runs scored, and a .588 slugging percentage, numbers that reinforce his effectiveness as an impact hitter. Although he was best known for his brute strength, he also showed a good eye at the plate, drawing 1,317 walks, which contributed to a solid on-base percentage. His statistical legacy becomes even more impressive when you consider that much of his production came during a time with fewer medical and technological advancements than are available today. Despite the controversies that arose after his retirement, McGwire's numbers remain a testament to his natural talent and unique ability to redefine the role of the home run hitter in modern baseball. After retiring as a player, Mark McGwire made a respectable return to baseball, this time off the field as a hitting coach. In 2010, he took the job as hitting coach for the St. Louis Cardinals, the team with which he had ended his playing career. His return generated great anticipation, both because of his legacy and the chance to pass on his vast technical knowledge to a new generation of hitters. McGwire quickly stood out for his meticulous and patient approach with players, focusing not only on swing mechanics, but also on mental discipline at the plate. During his time with the Cardinals, he helped shape talents like Matt Holliday and Alan Craig, and was part of the coaching staff that led the team to a World Series title in 2011, crowning his return to baseball with immediate success. After his time in St. Louis, McGwire continued as a hitting coach with the Los Angeles Dodgers and later with the San Diego Padres. With both franchises, he remained strongly committed to the individual development of each player, adapting his coaching style to suit different skill levels and playing approaches. With the Dodgers, he played a key role in the offensive development of young talents like Yasiel Puig and Jock Peterson. While with the Padres, he worked to strengthen a team undergoing a rebuilding process. Throughout this new phase of his career, McGwire successfully rebuilt his reputation within baseball, showing that beyond his legendary power at the plate, he possessed a deep understanding of the game and a true gift for teaching. His successful transition from star player to mentor reinforces his enduring passion for the sport and the continued impact he has within the MLB world. Mark McGwire's legacy in baseball is undoubtedly controversial, but also deeply significant. His name still evokes mixed reactions. For many, he's remembered as one of the most feared hitters to ever step on a Major League Baseball field. For others, his career is inseparable from the controversies surrounding performance-enhancing drugs. However, regardless of which side one falls on in the debate, it's impossible to ignore the impact McGwire had on the game. His raw power, capable of changing the course of a game with a single swing, and his imposing presence at the plate transformed the way offensive power was perceived in the league. He redefined the role of the modern slugger and inspired an entire generation of fans and young athletes. The 1998 season, in particular, remains one of the most thrilling and unforgettable chapters in MLB history. The home run race against Sammy Sosa not only captivated the sports world, but also helped reignite public interest in baseball, which was still recovering from the 1994 strike. The moment McGwire broke Roger Maris's record with his 62nd home run was celebrated with excitement, emotion, and a sense of reconnection between the sport and its fans. Although the glow of that achievement would later be dimmed by revelations about steroid use, it still holds a special place in baseball's collective memory. Mark McGwire, with all his complexities and contradictions, remains an iconic figure, a symbol of power, controversy, and passion for a game he helped transform. Mark McGwire is undoubtedly one of the most fascinating and controversial figures in baseball history. His career was marked by incredible achievements, astronomical numbers, and moments that defined a generation of fans. The power he displayed at the plate was almost superhuman, and his name became synonymous with home runs throughout the 1990s. To many, he was the hero who reignited the flame of the sport, especially following the dark period of the 1994 strike. The cultural impact McGwire had, alongside Sammy Sosa in 1998, cannot be understated. He brought excitement, spectacle, and hope back to packed stadiums filled with passionate fans. At the same time, it's impossible to talk about McGwire without mentioning the cloud of banned substances. When he admitted to using steroids years after his retirement, his image took a major hit. What was once pure admiration became a mix of respect and disappointment. Many asked, how much of his success was natural talent, and how much was chemistry? This duality directly affected his chances of entering the Hall of Fame, with divided voting and heated debates among experts, fans, and former players. His case became symbolic of an era, the so-called steroid era, that still sparks ethical and historical debate within the sport. But to reduce Mark McGwire solely to controversy would be to ignore the legitimate impact he had both on and off the field. As a hitting coach, he showed that his knowledge of the game went far beyond physical power. He worked with young talent, helped shape new hitters, and showed a more humble, instructional side, eager to contribute to others' growth. This chapter of his life revealed a more mature McGwire, away from the spotlight, but still deeply passionate about baseball. That quiet contribution is also part of his legacy, something many fans deeply respect. It's also important to recognize the emotional weight McGwire carried throughout his career. From the days of meteoric fame with the Bash brothers to the whirlwind of the 1998 home run race, he was constantly in the spotlight, living under immense pressure. Expectations grew with each season, and he knew he couldn't afford to disappoint. Even with the mistakes he made, he showed remorse and tried, honestly and with dignity, to rebuild his image. For many, that's a sign of character. After all, not everyone has the courage to face their own demons. Mark McGwire represents an era of extremes in baseball. He was the face of glorious moments and, at the same time, of controversies that forever changed how we view statistics and records. His story is a reminder that even the greatest idols are human, with virtues and flaws. And perhaps that's what makes his journey even more compelling. It reflects the complexities of both sports and real life, where not everything is black and white, and where judgment is rarely simple or final. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more fascinating content, and hit the bell icon to get notifications. And be sure to leave a comment below. In the end, Mark McGwire will be remembered for his unforgettable power at the plate, the thunderous cheers in the stadiums, and the lessons his journey brought to the game of baseball. His name may never be officially immortalized in the Hall of Fame, but it's already engraved forever in the memories of fans who lived through that magical era. His legacy, with all its nuances, is an essential part of MLB history, and it will continue to be discussed, revisited, and analyzed for years to come. Until the next chapter, dear baseball-loving friends,